Hello, everyone. We are back.
I
We are back.
Yes, we are.
Amateur podcast. Um, it's great to hear from you guys. It's been a hell of a year. I know they're
I
actually
feel
not
like you say
hearing
that
from
every
us.
year.
I should say I'm glad you guys are hearing us, is what I should say, and not hearing you guys. But no, it's been a hell of a year. I It's been a lot going on, and
It's been a lot.
I feel like we're finally at that point, at least for me, where I can vibe and chill for the rest of the year. And
Yeah.
yeah, I went
Yeah.
through a lot this year, but we're Gucci. We're going strong.
The year's only halfway over.
I know it's July freaking 12th or the 13th where you're at, you know? And
That's funny. It is.
yeah. So what are we talking about today, Mr. Duran?
Well, I wanted to discuss with you some of these topics regarding relationships and some of the etiquette around it. So like we got into this discussion the other day where we were saying um what constitutes like because when relationships end, people break, you have to break things off. And so we were kind of discussing if you were in a relationship and you decided to end that relationship so you could pursue somebody else, would that technically constitute as cheating? Even if you had never like done anything with that other person, like the other person that you were interested in. Like if you had never like flirted with them, anything like that, would that still be constituted as cheating? So what
So,
are your thoughts on
I mean, I think it truly depends on I think it really depends on how soon after the breakup did you get with this person. Um,
that? Oh, okay.
because no, and this is why things take a while to build up, right? So you don't just you don't just like break up with someone on Monday and somehow miraculously end up in a relationship a week later. That's just not how getting to know anyone works. You don't even become friends with someone that quickly. So, for me, you know, if you break up with someone for someone else, someone you've never, now, the whole idea here, guys, is you never touched them, you never flirted with them. Therefore, is it technically cheating? Now, Duran and I, a while ago, we've had this conversation about how far is too far before it actually is cheating, you know? And obviously it was really around flirting, right? Because um well, obviously touching them is cheating. So it was really around
It's
like,
pretty odd.
from a verbal communication perspective. So this whole idea and this topic we're talking about is really surrounding if you somehow never touched this person or flirted with this person, is it technically cheating if you moved on from that person, from whoever you dated to this new person that you had your eye on?
Well, okay, so
It's
let me give you some
Well, I guess that kind of removes
here
what I was saying earlier about if it depends on the if
the
if
time.
how well how the time. Oh yeah, because I mean,
I don't I don't think so because here's how. If you just because you've never touched them or flirted with them or anything, obviously if they kissed you or anything, that's cheating. But if they are flirting with you, like let's say they're flirting with you, even though you're in a relationship, I would still consider, and you're like, oh, I've got some signs that this person's interested in me. Now I'm gonna end this relationship and start one up with them immediately. I would still consider that cheating.
now here's the thing: you can usually cheating is obviously cheating's like it's a negative. But is that really like how like How far are we gonna go before it's not a bad thing?
What do
Like,
you mean?
because no, because think about it. If you are breaking up with someone for someone else, and you're so confident that this other person you had your eye on likes you to the point where you're willing to end your relationship so that you can have something with them without being unloyal
Hmm.
to the person you're currently dating. I mean, what if you really had your eye on that person for a while, and it's a situation when maybe you didn't know that they liked you until you found out?
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, is what you did technically frowned upon? Because at some point you're gonna have to make a decision. And
I guess, yeah.
so it's one of those things where it's one of
Yeah,
those
because
technical
so you're
things.
saying, yeah, because you're saying like basically if you know this person's interested in you, right, and you're actually really interested in that person, what you're saying is that eventually you're gonna have to make a decision about, do you break up with your current partner? And if you are more interested in that person, there's now no, even despite your own actions, there's now no ethical way to do that because you'd still be breaking up with one person for another, is what you're saying, right? Like there's no like there's no way to go about that.
Yeah, I mean
Is
that's
that what you're saying?
basically what I'm saying is, if you had your eyes on someone else, as long as your reason behind breaking up is locked in on this person, on this other person, it's always going to be looked at as being unloyal and being a cheater, even though you never actually touched this person and you never actually flirted with this person. But somehow you would still be known as a cheater, technically, because of
Well,
the reason behind.
no, because I think when you're navigating this breakup, if you say that my reason is breaking up is because I want to be with Sarah or whatever, then yeah, it's cheating. But if you say, well, my reason for breaking up is I want to be single, then that's, I guess, technically the truth, but and not cheating is because you want to be single. I think you have to, I think this is predicated on the fact that you have to be single for a period of time after you break up and not immediately go into a relationship with this person. Because if you're willing to go into a relationship immediately with this person, and by immediately I mean within the next, I don't know, month, more like 2 weeks, but month, let's just say, then you had to have been getting closer to this person while the relationship was going on, you know? So even if you weren't flirting with them or you weren't touching them, maybe you guys were hanging out all the time getting coffee and you were talking to them about your problems at work instead of, your significant other. So like there has to be that quote unquote dating phase.
Well,
And
yeah, well,
mhm,
it could also be, hold on a second. It could also be a
mhm,
scenario where, you knew of the person already. Like, let's say you guys have always been friends and you didn't know that they liked you until they mentioned it while you are in this said relationship. Now, keep in mind, not saying you settled, but if you always had your eye or always deep down wanted this person who you liked so much, you were actually willing to be friends with them. And now you grew on them and they have informed you in some fashion that they are interested in you as more than friends. How do you step away from that without looking bad?
okay, I think the way you do that is, like I said,
Take
I
it to
think
the
it's,
grave?
no, don't take it to the grave. No, you break up with that person and you don't have to tell them. I think telling them is like malicious, but I I think you just break up with them and say, I'd rather be single, and while you're single, you just, give it some time because most people should need some time to heal after a breakup. So if you skip the healing phase or whatever and just jump straight into a relationship with this new person, then that says something about you.
Going off.
So no matter how the relationship ended, yeah, no matter how the relationship ended, you should need some time to grieve the end of that relationship, quote unquote. Uh, mhm.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm sorry about that. I thought you were done talking. I didn't mean to cut you off. Um,
No, that's fine.
but kind of, I'm gonna jump off the a little bit from this topic, but staying on the topic of breakups. Um, so what if you met this person while you were in a relationship and
Okay, you met
you
the.
guys
Uh-huh.
broke up you broke up for whatever reason you broke up. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just say you broke up for whatever reason. But now you find yourself, or let's actually put it from the point of view of the person of your ex, right? Now you find out that your ex might be dating someone or is dating someone who they met while they were in a relationship with you. Do you
I
look
don't.
at that as what do you how do you can you can one be angry at that?
Well, technically, anybody could be angry at anything, but I wouldn't be angry about it because just because you met that person while you were, in this case, dating me or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that you guys were this super close at that time. It just means that after a relationship ended, you were super close. I think people after that, but I think people's main ick about this is like you had to have got been maintaining an emotional relationship with two people at the same time for you to get in a relationship so fast. So that period of time where you're maintaining that emotional relationship with both your significant other and this new person that you're prospectively looking at, that is the cheating point of time. Like whatever period of time where you're doing both of those things, knowing how you feel is when they're like, "Ooh, that's that's the cheating moment, right?"
Oh yeah. I mean, I know some people might say like, okay, well, if now that they're dating this person that I know they met while we were in a relationship, that could mean that they were having, you know, perhaps certain conversations. Um,
Could
and
be, but
perhaps that what it could have caused the breakup, There's so many different things that could be said, and you know, going back on what you said earlier about how, oh, well, anyone can get mad at anything. I mean,
mm,
if my ex is dating someone who's random, like this person, she randomly met this person, I can't get mad at that, right? I mean, you can't honestly expect the person that you used to date to stay single forever, right?
right,
So
right,
that I
yeah.
can't get mad at. I can feel some type of way about it, but logically, I can't get mad at it. But you can make a case for getting angry at them dating someone who they were kind of sort of close with during your time with this person.
I
And
guess, but you can never prove whether or not they got closer after you broke up or they were that close the whole time, you know? You'll never know that. So
yeah,
I think it's kind of a pointless thing. Where it's like, did you did you grow closer or were you always that close? Or when did you grow closer? You'll never know because they won't say.
now is this okay, folks, getting back on the subject of breaking up with someone for someone else. If you are in said scenario is there a way to move on to someone else without somehow, some way being a cheater or being unloyal? Is there a way to move on from person A to person B in this
Mhm.
scenario without being known as a cheater?
I think I think there is, and I think what's the part that people are very like, oh, this is cheating, is the direct transition from
Yep.
person A to person B immediately.
I was just
So
about
if
to say
you
the
avoid
duration.
that, yeah, the duration and the direct transition from A to B. So if you avoid that, if you break up with A, give it some time now and actually honestly explore your options and end up coming back to B, I don't think anyone could be mad at you.
Yeah.
But if you go, if you shoot like an arrow straight from A to B, then it's like, well, there was no loyalty there.
Mhm.
So I think that's what people are like, if you but I
Or
my
do
my take on this is based on if you're in a relationship with A and just the possibility of B is making you question and doubt your entire relationship, you shouldn't be in that relationship anymore.
well,
So you should just end it.
what I was gonna say is some people might save face by basically, so they end the relationship, and then so people are fake, by the way. Like people are fake when it comes to like, how they handle their relationships ending. And there would be some people out there who would act like they are going to be single and they're going to, do some cliche shit like focus on themselves, travel, or so, I don't know, some cliche bullshit. And in reality,
Mhm.
they're seeing said person, they're just keeping it on the low because they don't want it to be suspicious when, if it is announced that they're seeing someone and then people look at the time duration and be like, "Whoa, that's pretty soon after
Well,
you after you got
well,
out of that
here
last
my
relationship."
take on that is if you're ever seeing someone and you gotta keep it on the low, you're probably cheating. You're a cheater. That's why you gotta keep it on the low because you are cheating.
Now, is this a case where, because like, yeah, we know what old-fashioned cheating is, right? We know it. We watch movies. Some of us have unfortunately been on the receiving end of it. Like it's we know that it's bad and we know that the actions you have to do in order for it to be, we know what makes it bad, right? Like, is
Mhm.
this one of those things where it's like, okay, like the only person who might actually bitch about this is probably the ex themselves. Like the ex might be like, all right, like you cheated on me because you left me for someone else. But again, I think another thing to look at too is the marriage, like, the relationship. I mean, if it's a marriage, that's pretty sick, right? I mean, to just end your marriage because of someone else. But I think you also have to look at the relationship. I mean, if the relationship was buckling, or if the relationship was not even a long term yet, I mean, is it technically a bad thing to say, all right, well, I found someone else that, you know, I might want to pursue. So I'm going to end this relationship before I do anything with them, to try to keep my values as a human being.
Yeah, right. I would say that, if you're in a relationship with somebody, it should be, at least in my world, it's because you think that that person is the one for you and you're a soulmate or whatever, and you're gonna, be in love with each other and die together or whatever, right? So if you're in a relationship with that person and just the mere existence of another person is making you question and doubt that relationship, then the relationship is not strong enough and you should just end it. And then you don't necessarily have to immediately jump into a relationship with somebody else because how do you know that relationship is going to be any better? I think it's just you end that relationship because right there in that moment is like the litmus test. And it's like, this is not the forever stuff. This is not permanent.
Yeah.
So I think that's, and then you just get, when you get in your next relationship, you just see, you do the same thing. Is this the person you want to be with forever, quote unquote?
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, like I think I don't think people realize how like dating is very I don't think people realize how flexible dating is. Like, keep in mind, like you guys aren't married. Like at
Hmm.
any point, like you could just get up and just say, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. And I mean, who are you to for whatever that reason is, who are they to be like, oh well, you know, you're not supposed to do that, you know?
You're not supposed to do that. You ended that relationship. You're not supposed to do that. Well, there you go. Actually, technically, you're not supposed to do that, but you're never, just because you're in a relationship with somebody doesn't mean that you've made a lifetime commitment to them until you make an actual lifetime commitment to them. But that's how people treat it.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why marriage is so beautiful, my brother recently got married and you know, I don't know the ins and outs of him and now my sister-in-law's relationship. Obviously, I don't live with him. But this wedding was the longest I have been around them two as a couple. Um, probably ever. I was with them for a few days. Um, you know, and they looked like a married couple, like even prior to the actual like wedding, like they looked the part, and it kind of had me going home and overthink, like rethinking all of my like relationship, you know, my past relationships and my actions. I just got out of a pretty long-term relationship earlier this year, and I personally like me and my ex and my brother and my sister-in-law have basically like both our relationships basically started around the same time. And like like our relationship, even though it just ended, it was like a joke compared to like the chemistry they had. Like it was a literal joke. Like, I think my ex annoyed the hell out of me. I think I annoyed him. And um I it just had kind of had me coming home and just thinking like, hey, you know, I think I have an idea of what exactly I'm looking for when it's time to jump into a relationship again. Um, which I'm totally not really ready to do yet. I I'm not. But I think the idea of marriage has changed for me in terms of the seriousness of it. It's definitely it's powerful. And I can see why the groom cries. I can see why the bride cries and everybody cries and everyone's so happy. And because it's strong. It's not, I mean, obviously you guys love each other. You guys don't have to be married to love each other, but like it's powerful, to basically say I want to be this one person's, you know, only for basically the rest of your life. I mean, it's wild. But the truth of the matter is really not wild. It's just wild because I mean, my relationships have been an absolute joke compared to what I've seen, up front. And it just I came home after that whole weekend and it had me really thinking hard about what I even want in a relationship. And I don't know. It kind of took some of my anxiety away, to be honest with you. It's pretty soothing. But anyway, I brought all that up to say, like, I don't. I think everything prior to marriage and engagement and all the other, you know, long-term commitment bullshit. Like I think it's very flexible, and I think people should go into their relationship knowing that it can really end at any moment. Um, my ex, I saw him the last time I saw him, and I honestly didn't think that was going to be the last time I saw him. And looking back at it, not only was it the last time I saw him, but I don't really ever want to see him again. You know, um, I don't think there's any good coming out of seeing him again. Um, I it's funny. It was a while afterwards where I wanted to talk to him. I don't even want to talk to him anymore. I mean, it's just he doesn't have to talk to me, and I don't have to talk to him. I can avoid him at all costs, and he can do the same for me. Um, and honestly, I want to go into my next relationship with that mindset because we can talk about this. I love you, BS, all you want. We can talk about marriage all we want, but at the end of the day, it's so flexible, you know, um, prior to engagements and weddings and all the other long-term commitment crap. So yeah, it's just wanted to throw that in there. Um, I don't know if you do you agree, disagree?
No, I agree. I agree. People look at, well, it's because most people, when they go into a relationship, assume they, there's two types of people when they get into relationships. People who go in with the mindset that, yes, this relationship it's good for the moment, like it's good right now, and we'll just, evaluate whether or not it's good going forward. And then there's also the type of people who are like, I'm going into this relationship right now because I think this person is the one. And, I don't want them to get taken away?
Yeah,
So I
and
think it's,
I thought my ex was the one. You can ask him. I even spoke to him about like marriage at one point. But then, like I said, all you got to do is just spend a little bit of time around people who actually like real relationships and real like people, even people who are just starting their relationship, and you just compare and contrast and be like, what was I thinking? You know? Um, and it just I don't know. I wish more people that's like something I would tell my young self is, when you get into a relationship, just enjoy it. And just know that if you're ever unhappy, you can just end it. I mean, there's no reason to stick around. This is, I mean, dating is literally just a trial for marriage. I
free
mean,
trial.
literally. Well, I mean, when you have a trial of a program and it's not good, do you go and actually pay for it after the trial's up? No.
No.
So, I mean, why stick around for a trial? Because essentially that's what relationships and dating is until it's time to actually make the full-on commitment. Um, and it sucks
Hmm.
because I know there's people who probably don't want to hear that. They want to feel that, you know, their boyfriend or girlfriend is everything they ever wanted and yada 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 yada. And I should not have to marry them in order for them to feel that way. But the truth be told, they can leave at any point, and there's really nothing you can do about it. I mean, it's just the way it is. Um, and yeah. Um, well, okay. Well, all
Yeah.
right, let's
Yeah, that was
let's let's talk about some
okay.
we gotta end this with a pet peeve. We gotta end this with a pet peeve.
Yeah, all right. This is
First
okay.
off, before we get started
So
with the pet peeve, how are you, by the
okay.
way? How are you? I want to
Me?
let's
Oh,
be open real quick with our because it's been a while. I don't want to just show up and it's been a
I'm
bit.
doing all right. I'm in currently in India for on business. And it is what is it? 6 a.m. So I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Okay. Well, guys, I am on the East Coast and it is 8:43 p.m. So you can imagine I'm probably a little bit more relaxed than he is. Um, I would say I'm doing okay. I'm chilling here, drinking my tea. I just
I will
finished.
say. Oh, okay. This could be my pet peeve. You go ahead.
I was
I
gonna
just thought
say
of
I will.
something.
Oh, I wonder. Well, now I'm curious. Let me hurry this up so I can know. I'm eating my watermelon. I'm Gucci. I'm fine. I had a pretty stressful last couple of weeks. I'm glad that's wrapped up. And yeah. Um, but yeah, okay. Well, let's what's your pet peeve? It sounds like that's where you were leading us.
No, I was just saying. Okay, so so like I said, it was six a.m. My pet peeve is people contacting you outside work hours because I it's Saturday and I also have work because I work on Saturdays when I'm here. But not only is that bad enough, but people were contacting me last night about work, and now they contacted me this morning about work, and it's 6 a.m. on Saturday. So I have a meeting in about an hour or two. Oh, this is happening outside of working hours. So, except for the meeting, a meeting is like 10 minutes before or whatever. It doesn't really make a big difference. So, my pet peeve of the day is people contacting you outside of working hours. Okay. And expecting a response and being all surprised when you don't respond.
Is it like
Hello,
chat?
I got a
Is it
life. I'm
email?
sleeping.
Is it like email?
It's a chat. It's a chat. With
Oh, those are
her.
worse.
Can we move the meeting up? That's what it said. Can we move the meeting up? It's 10. Currently, it's like 10 minutes before I'm supposed to start working. So I'm like, whatever, 10 minutes. But they want to move it to 30 minutes. Well, because they're on the East Coast, so they want a time that works better for them.
So
But
for
that
me, like
drives me crazy.
email, it depends for me. Like my chat, like we use Microsoft Teams at my job, like probably most people on Earth in the workforce. Um, like my Teams, like it notifies me, when someone messages me, regardless of the hour of the day. Um, like this morning, I woke up from a message from my boss at like 7 in the morning, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm not used to getting messages from her this early, but all right, I'll take it. Um, and I answered it. I was half asleep when I answered it, but I somehow rolled over and answered it. What I won't respond to is emails. I don't even get like I don't even get notifications on my phone for my work email. Like I have to actually go into the app and like actually
Look
go
for
and see it because I don't care for emails. Like the people who need to reach me ASAP, they have my number, they have me on Teams. Um, if it's that urgent, my boss will let me know. You know, like and most of the time it's probably like a group email. So if it's something imperative, someone's gonna let me know, or it can wait until the workday starts. So that's why I asked. I'm like, if it's email, I don't even know why you responded. I mean, I would have left that alone.
it.
Um,
Well, for me, it's chat and emails are the same place. Well, no, they're not the same. Emails I don't get notifications for, but every single time someone sends me a chat, I get an email. Like that's like, here's a summary of what they said to you. Oh, blah, blah. So, but
so
yeah, it's emails. I, I I don't know. I'm different when it comes to emails. I respond to almost all. Like I look at them and respond to them almost immediately because sometimes the really important stuff being emails and only an email. Like my one coworker quit the other day. It's only in emails.
was it only wow? Did he quit over email?
Yeah.
Wow. I hope were you oh Lord, I hope you were actually supposed I hope you were allowed to let us know that.
What? 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 You don't even know. You don't know anything about
I,
one
I don't
coworker. But
yeah,
yeah.
you're safe. You're Gucci. Um, let's see, pet peeve for me. Um, there's a lot of stuff that annoys me. Um, I have one.
Okay. Well.
I can't
Okay.
stand
Dang.
when somebody
I was.
automatically assumes and because the topic today was relationships, so we can stay on that for today. I don't like when you go and talk to someone and they automatically assume that they're reaching out or you're reaching out because you're romantically interested in them. Um,
That sounds like a conceited person.
I Here's the thing. So what if I'm romantically interested in you? So what? I mean, if I ask you out on a date, okay, even if I compliment you, I'm like, you should still be able to just take it. Like, it shouldn't be a massive problem. Now, if I ask you out on a date, or I flirt with you or something, then maybe that's where you can go, okay, I don't want to, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship right now. Ooh, oh, I have a fucking boyfriend. I have a this, I have a that. Like, you know, just all I'm doing is talking to you. Okay? All I'm doing is talking to you. If I saw you because you're pretty or you're handsome or whatever have you, then keep in mind that's all I know about you right now. Okay? And what I'm doing right now is trying to get to know you by talking to you.
Well,
Now,
okay.
that
I'll
doesn't
give you a
mean that I'm
caveat
trying to get
there.
to know you from a romantic perspective. Because, like, listen, there's some people out there who you can talk to them, and then after one conversation, you just easily say to yourself, okay, this person is not romantic material, but they would make a bomb ass friend. And
Right.
now you completely turned that off because you want to come at my throat here about, oh, I don't want to be in a relationship. And it's like I said three things to you, and none of them were flirtatious at all. Like it just
Well, I'll give you one caveat there. A lot of people who are in relationships, they say, oh, to their partner, you cannot be getting any messages from people, who you're attracted to, or, not who you're attracted to, but who you could potentially be attracted to. So if anybody, messages you, you have to tell them you're in a relationship. And so they will, the message one, you say hello, they'll be
that's
like, I am in a relationship.
you are dating an insecure person. Like I was
That
saying a
is
couple minutes
true.
ago,
That is true.
like I was saying, if I ask you out on a date, if I flirt with you, then I can see why you raise the red flag and say, "Oh my gosh, uh, I have a boyfriend. Oh my gosh, I don't want to date right now." Oh, but whatever your reasoning is for not wanting to pursue anything romantically, I can see why you would blow the horn. You know, but like seriously, if all I'm doing is making a little bit of small talk with you, trying to see exactly, again, you've already caught my eye. Now I'm just trying to figure out we even if we even can connect, if we're even, you know, if you're someone I can actually connect with in any way, you know? And meanwhile, you're automatically putting your ugly face forward by completely shooting me down in a manner that and shooting me down for a role, I should say, that I didn't even technically ask for yet, you know? Now, if I ask you out on a date,
You didn't get the part.
that's a romantic thing that I want to do because I'm officially informing you that I'm interested enough to pursue it. That's when you can shut me down.
Mhm.
Okay, if we're over here talking about the weather, or if I'm over here, just talking to you about, I don't know, an event or something, uh, please, please get yourself together.
Well, I
Like, come on.
yeah, I think there's three things you're dealing with. Some people are conceited, so they just think everybody's already romantically interested in them. Two, that there's people in relationships with really insecure partners where they'll be like, "Oh yeah, you forgot to tell this person that you're in a relationship, so you must be interested in
And
them."
if that's the
No, I
case,
didn't.
lady,
I just didn't tell them.
and if it's the latter, ladies and gentlemen, okay, just let you guys know, like I said a couple minutes back, trial, trial. You would not want to take that into the rest of your life. So again, if you have a 1 month
And your free
free
trial.
of a program and something you didn't like about it, well, something, you found something you didn't like about it. What do? Do you go ahead and pay for the service? No, you don't. You try to get something else that's better, that doesn't have those
As many bugs.
faults. And yeah, so remember, trial. And if you need
Okay, I think we
more of
should
a
leave it
hint,
on that.
you should not be dating someone that insecure. That is insane. Like, that's just wild to me. In case, if I have to be blunt about it. Um, but all right. I guess we can wrap up today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you guys, and we'll be back here for the next episode. Thanks.